and a Telegram will be set. Welcome, folks. We are live. This is the Sacred Lavisa podcast, August 7th, 2022. Don't forget to subscribe to all of our channels on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, and others, as well as follow and like our pages. Follow to get notifications for our lives, for all our Facebook pages and other social media platforms as well. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to check out the Bonfire store, which has a bunch of merchandise you can purchase to show your support for the cause. Everything that's made from there goes to the CPS and Family Court Corruption Victims Fund. We do not profit from this at all whatsoever. This is volunteer only work. So therefore, everything we use should be covered under fair use. That being said, let's begin our little intro with audio. Welcome, everybody. Would you like to tell our viewers briefly, Dottie, about the article that was published this last week about your story? You're muted. Unmute yourself, Dottie.
Sorry. The news article that came out the other day is just kind of like an update what's going on with the trial, because they canceled the trial last week because the witnesses were unavailable, and they have not rescheduled the trial date. So I don't know what's going on exactly with that. We can talk about what we think is going on with my case, why they have pushed this off
Right.
so long.
You want to go ahead and share your screen and read the article for our viewers if you're able. If not, I'll do it from my end.
Yeah.
When Angela Freiner lost custody of her teenage daughter, Dalila Judy, last year, she sent an email to the presiding judge warning of consequences. "I demand my custody be put back in place and my daughter be released to me today," Freiner wrote on March 5. "You're taking her childhood away from her and doing irreversible damage. If she is not returned to me today, there will be consequences for your conduct. You have stepped over the line for any kind of immunity as a judge." Dalila was released to her uncle David Judy's custody and taken away to Arizona, according to Freiner, who hasn't seen her daughter in more than a year. They could have easily went down to Arkansas, where Dalila's grandfather, Stephen Judy, lives, she said. "He's a level 3 sex offender. If you look at the registry, you'll see the description of how he was really abusive to the girl he raped." According to the Boone County Sheriff's website in Arkansas, Stephen Scott Judy was convicted of forcible rape, assault with a deadly weapon, sexual battery, and restraint of a 26 to 28-year-old female. "They took my daughter, and the charge against me is an act of retaliation on the part of the judge," Freiner alleges. "My daughter did not deserve what this judge did to her that day. This was a fixed case of child trafficking." The guardian ad litem involved with the case at the time, attorney Venus Jackson, did not respond to requests for comment. Within 3 days of sending the email to Judge Nicole Zellweger warning her of consequences, Freiner was arrested and jailed for tampering with a judicial officer. "I was referring to legal actions, not violence," Freiner said. "I thought I should be able to fix this somehow legally. I had been studying about how judges can lose immunity because they don't always have immunity." The St. Louis resident was released on her own recognizance by Judge James Sullivan after sitting in jail for 2 weeks. St. Louis County Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Douglas Siddle, however, filed a motion for reconsideration on March 24, 2021. Neither Joshua Lubatkin in the Office of the Circuit Attorney in the City of St. Louis nor Siddle responded to requests for comment. "They were trying to put me back in jail to say that I was a danger to the community," Freiner said. John O'Sullivan, communications director with the 21st Judicial Circuit of the St. Louis County Courts, declined to comment. Pursuant to Rule February 2, 2010 of the Missouri Code of Judicial Conduct, a judge cannot make a public statement concerning a pending case, O'Sullivan told the St. Louis Record. Although Judge James Sullivan did not detain Freiner a second time, a grand jury subsequently issued an indictment charging her with a Class D felony. The defendant with the purpose to harass, intimidate or influence a judicial officer, Nicole Zellweger, in the performance of such officer's official duties, used a threat against or towards such judicial officer Nicole Zellweger, and that defendant sent a threatening email to Nicole Zellweger in which she threatened the judge by stating there would be consequences for the judge's conduct if the judge did not change her ruling. April 2021 charging documents state, a trial scheduled for this week, however, was postponed to the unavailability of witnesses. Christopher King, Public Information Officer for the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney, declined to comment. "We have severe limits on pretrial publicity for good reasons that protect us all, so generally can't say much outside of court or our filings until a case is disposed," King told the St. Louis Record in an email.
You want to go ahead and give our viewers a little bit of background on a little more context on your case and basically what happened? Maybe explain the recording, or even play it for our viewers about what the judge said, or when she said she'd that if your daughter didn't go with her dad, she put you in jail.
Oh, we can listen to that because this all started from a paternity case. This is how this all began. My ex took me back to court for custody of our daughter, and it's turned into a felony charge for me because of the colluding they do to take people's children, and get kicked back from the government. It's the typical playbook that most people are dealing with, that are getting the bad end of the stick in the family court. But on February 10th, when I took my daughter into the courtroom, she was threatening my daughter and I in court that day, telling us we could do it the easy way or the hard way. And if, my daughter didn't go peacefully with her dad, that she would arrest me. Well, my daughter still refused, and, the judge arrested me, and my daughter still refused to go with her dad after that. So they ended up putting my daughter in the mental ward at Children's Hospital. And 23 days later, when they were getting ready to release her to a third party, is when the email was written to the judge the day they were taking Delilah out of the state. I wrote the judge trying, one like last attempt to save my little girl from being taken out of state, because I knew once they did that, it would be almost impossible to get her back.
Right? Did you have that? Did you want to bring up that that video? I think it's on your YouTube, I believe.
Yeah, it's in this little thing I have here. I'm trying to get to it.
Alrighty. So basically, what tell our viewers what happened recently? Like, you had your trial set for the 3rd, right?
It was set for the 2nd and the 3rd, and then it was one day was canceled, and it was only supposed to be on the 3rd. And then as it got closer to the court date, I got word from the courts that the judge went ahead and the prosecuting attorney filed for a continuance, and the judge went ahead and did that, took it off the docket, but he never put it back on the docket, like for a trial date. So okay. It's up in the air as to when, they're going to go back to court for this trial. I have no idea really what they're doing. I have speculations what's going on, but
right. That's all it is right now, is speculation, because we don't know.
Right. The prosecuting attorney said there's witnesses not available, but I don't even know who the witnesses are. That has not been disclosed to me.
I would imagine one of them would be Zellweger herself.
Well, she's the only witness, really.
That's what I'm saying. Really That's my point. That's what they're really saying there.
The fact is that they won't give me a witness list, because they said witnesses. It was plural, so they said there were several witnesses. The fact that I can't get a witness list
is bullshit.
How do you prepare for a trial when you don't even know what's coming at you?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. I think they just weren't ready for it, to have trial, because they don't have a case.
No, they don't. They really don't.
I really think that they were trying to muster me into scaring me into hiring an attorney, so that attorney could handle me in the direction they want me to go, just to shut me up, just put it all to bed, and then, like everybody forget about it, because, they all work together. But because I won't hire an attorney, I think they're a little worried about what their next move is going to be, because if you think about it, there's not a smart move from here for them.
No, there's not. There's really not. And
I don't think there is.
What was it you said that we thought was beautiful about how they put that in the article? How they quoted they acknowledged about it being trafficking, but they didn't try to counter it.
Well, yeah. Now that it's actually been put in black and white, it's tangible. It's true. It's real. What's going on. You know what I mean? And the fact that the courts wouldn't make a comment on any of it is, well, what do they say? You have the right not to incriminate yourself.
Right.
So is that why they didn't comment?
I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, all the evidence I've seen, it indicates that they're committing massive racketeering and fraud, and then some. That doesn't even cover the tip of the iceberg.
Right. So I mean, it could be, they have these statutes, but it also could be maybe they don't want to incriminate themselves with a comment, because
right.
They used to nobody.
Well, they pretty much already incriminated themselves with everything we got.
if you think about it, out of all the stuff that's come out of St. Louis County and, with the GAL Zoom call and all the lawsuits, nobody's commented on anything. There's not been one official statement released about
Of course not.
nothing, like they're just trying to act like it's not going on or it's not happening, just kind of, trying to ignore it. It's not going to go away. That's just it.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Hey, Dottie.
Yeah.
Hey, Dottie. I was wondering, do you have a copy on hand of the email you sent to the judge that you're in trouble for?
Yeah.
Are you able to share that? Because I would love to see that.
Bring that up
Yeah,
there.
I can
I'm
do
sure she'd love to see it because she'd be able to give us good
Thank you.
context.
Do you want to hear this audio first? I just got to this audio. You want me to go ahead and play
Yeah,
the
put
audio?
that first and we'll bring up the email after.
Okay, so this day is February 10th, 2021. This is really what kind of kicked off going into the felony charge was from this court hearing here.
Mhm.
And this was posted up on Mike Velope's and my YouTube.
Make sure you share your screen.
Okay.
I appreciate that there are emotions that are running right now. But I understand but this a peaceful transition is what we need.
Is it having issues or is it playing?
And I wanna
It's
be
playing.
clear
Can you not hear it?
the court
It sounds like it's having a little bit of issue.
evidence.
Yeah, I mean, maybe go to it on your actual YouTube
Let
channel.
me, yeah,
might
let me
be
see.
easier.
There was strong motions that challenged the court's.
Because going through the simple booklet's not gonna, it might be causing a little bit of a bogging down as far as lag goes.
Let me see.
It's on your YouTube, I know.
Yeah,
Where's Delilah YouTube?
yeah. But I have a better copy, I think, on my computer.
All right. Well, if you can find that, go for it.
Actually, a video.
I use that Cash for Kids LLC for the beginning of my video, my rendition of Sean McMillan's case.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that.
I used Cash for Kids LLC with them all laughing at the beginning because I mean that is just gold.
Well, I mean, yeah, laughing at that, right?
I mean, who
It's sick.
laughs like that about something that serious? Like serious.
It's not funny, and they know they messed up. That's why they're not commenting because they know they're in trouble.
So the day the Zoom call was released, that date was February 10th. It was the same day that they took my daughter and placed her into the mental ward. So the day
So they all got together and colluded on that same day.
That's exactly what they
well,
did.
they
Yeah.
released the
More or less.
call that day. So they were colluding in January, like January 27th. It didn't get released until February 10th, and it just so happened to be February 10th is the same day that they trafficked my daughter out of the courthouse. They met.
They do that.
Huh?
They do those date things, those dates. They have dates that they do specific things all together and on purpose. It's the weirdest thing. You'll find on birthdays they tend to do things, holidays.
That has
or
something to do with like their
traditions.
satanic ritual, abuse, witchcraft, whatever.
Yeah,
it is that
possibly because
they-
like
you know,
they
whatever
love
they're
their
involved in.
numerology
That,
and their
that's
dates
where
and
that
their
date
symbols.
stuff comes in like that.
And it's true because I don't get it personally because I don't, worry about any of that. But they do. I've noticed a pattern for sure. But yeah, Cash for Kids LLC, and they're all laughing. I mean, as a professional trying to help children in general, you should never laugh at such an issue, meaning that is
Definitely not.
I mean, just it's so unprofessional that they would mock people that believe that to the point where it's very communist, the behavior, the mockery.
People that they're supposed to be
Right.
helping at that, these are people
Right.
that people are paying and entrusting in like some of their most vulnerable time, like when you're going through a divorce and you're losing kids and kids are, I mean.
Oh, is
these
this it right
families are
here?
so vulnerable. Yeah.
Oh, this is the original video that goes with
Yeah.
audio. Oh, now. Oh, wow. Okay, never seen the video before.
I'm hoping this is the enhanced version. If not, I'm gonna have to find it because I have one that's enhanced. This is not it. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Uh huh.
Here, this one's enhanced. I think this is the one. that better?
And if
Way better,
Ms.
yes.
Freiner asks for us to not have a hearing today because the child lives with dad, as I mentioned in the phone call last week, the court has indicated that it will likely not having a hearing today if the child is living with dad voluntarily, because that I'll be sitting for a hearing in the court's opinion other than we had this last week. So I will ask Ms. Freiner, are you turning over the child to dad?
I'm not stopping her. I brought her in today and you guys asked me to.
Okay, yeah, that's precisely right. So I'm looking at you. Are you ready to leave with dad?
I'm not going with it. I don't want to go with it.
You don't have a choice. The court has an order that is entered that you're going to go with dad.
You told me I don't want to go there. I don't feel comfortable there. I'm scared there.
There's no evidence at this point before the court. There's no pending motions other than the ones that are filed on this side. So the court has no ability to take any action. And the GAL has not indicated that she's filing anything today, my understanding.
I did say that I contacted CPS and CPS had not seen the records, but they did say the case was closed.
Case is closed. So I need you to go ahead and.
I have some motions I wanted to file today.
You can file your motions today. Nothing is scheduled to be heard.
Okay, this part right here is really, really important. So she tells my daughter that, you know, there's no evidence in front of the court, that only motion she has is the motions her dad has filed on that side of the court. And, you know,
Wow.
the Venus Jackson hasn't filed anything. So there's no motions to hear from the GAL.
Mhm.
I tell her I have motions I'd like to file because I had one stopping the TRO. I had one recusing the judge. I had one recusing the GAL that day. I had every document in hand I needed to handle what should have been able to be handled that day,
Right.
and stop them from taking my daughter and not, you know, not putting her in a hospital, not trafficking her cross country, not ending up in a facility in Wyoming with, you know, being used as child labor. Like
Mhm.
I had every document in hand. She tells me that I can file my documents at the end of trial and that none of them are going to be heard today, that they can handle those on another date. So she denies me filing.
Wow.
She blocks my due process right off the flip. I mean, we just get into court and I'm trying to file these documents for this hearing right now, you know, because I had my cross document to go, you know, my counter document on the TRO.
Mhm.
You know, she should have stopped, took my documents, and they
She should have.
been
She's obligated to by law. At least
Right,
she's
and-
supposed to be.
And this is a blatant violation. Like this should never happen in court.
Today, but you can file everything you have today. That's fine. My clerk can take it at the end. So go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, I would like to just reschedule the hearing because the child has been produced. I don't feel the need to proceed with the criminal contempt case because the child has been produced. And so at this point, I would like everyone's agreeable. I'd like to go on the record just indicate that the child has been produced and the child is going to go with dad. And then dad, you're going to leave.
She says it again. I don't want to go with him.
I don't want to go with her.
You don't have a choice. You're going to leave with dad today.
I'm not going with her.
You don't have a choice. Okay. One more.
We are on the record in 14 SLDR 02617-02, Freiner versus Judy. We're here today on a criminal contempt order and a writ of habeas corpus that was, actually there are two related cases. It's that case and the second case is 21 SLDR 00544. That's the order for the writ as it relates to the child. Very briefly, the court issued the motion for criminal contempt show cause order last week. The parties were all aware of it, and in response to that, both petitioner and respondent appeared in person today. Petitioner brought the minor child, Delilah, with her in court today. We're going to go around the room. Everyone is going to just state their name into the microphone for me. We'll start with petitioner. That's actually on this side. Thank you.
Angela Freiner.
Thank you. And you can go ahead and state your name.
Delilah Judy.
Thank you. And respondent side.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kathleen Scholl for James Judy, who is here.
And you can
James Judy is present, Your Honor.
Thank you. We also have the guardian. She's not by microphone, so the guardian, Venus Jackson, is also appearing live today. Okay. The show cause order requires the petitioner to appear in person and with the child today. Numerous court orders, including the court's most and amended December 23rd of 2020. The court also entered a temporary restraining order on January 15th, 2021 that confirmed dad had custody of the minor child. The TRO order turned into a consent order of TRO on January 29th, 2021 when Ms. Freiner indicated she would voluntarily produce the child on February 3rd. The minor child was not produced, nor was Ms. Freiner in court that day as required to be. The court therefore then issued the current motion that we're here on today, the motion for criminal contempt on its own motion. On its own motion, the court, the court held.
That's another thing I want to point out here is that I am in court to give back my daughter on the TRO, but I'm also there for a criminal contempt that the court moved on their own motion. So the court brought this criminal contempt order against me. They, you know, at this point, she started moving on her own motion. She wasn't waiting for James to ask the court to do anything. The court just started moving on their own motion. So this criminal contempt hearing that I'm in without lawyer, you know, without any representation, without being offered any representation, which I'm entitled to have representation. Right. I didn't waive that right. She never asked me if I wanted to waive that right. So I go through this criminal trial with no lawyer. No representation. Wow. She actually signs a lawyer to me after I'm already sitting in jail. Then I was on a 48-hour hold. After 24 hours of being there, I was told that I have a visitor. I go in and it's a lawyer that she had signed to me for this charge after the fact. You know, after she already put me in jail, you know, they already heard the hearing, put me in jail. I'm sitting in jail. Then she wants to give me a lawyer. And that was just to hold me up where I couldn't file or handle anything. Because once you have a lawyer file in on your case, you're done. You can't do anything after that point until you get the lawyer off your case. You can't file. You can't do anything. You know, they won't talk to you.
Right. And did you know? I actually have the book right here, and it's a huge problem because the court themselves is not a neutral party in this in these administrative courts.
No, they're not. Not at all. They have special interests here.
Increasingly in the United States, the court is a supportive and influential partner in the advancement of this practice. Correct.
Partner.
See, and that's a huge issue.
That explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not a neutral party. And what in the world are these people thinking?
Well,
why? What the hell are they thinking?
When you become a partner, doesn't that make it private? That's no longer.
It makes it so. There shouldn't be an authority. Number one, for it to be a one-sided act. I mean, call yourself a court.
Yeah.
I mean,
can you do that?
You're not balanced.
They're sure as hell not acting like a lawful court. That's for damn sure. They're acting like a color of law court.
It's not even a tribunal with the neutral. I mean, it's not even that. It's so ridiculous. And as you see, this is what they're all being taught. This is the book, you know, from
they're not being taught correctly. But she tells us in this hearing right now that if I'm willing to come to court and bring my daughter into court, she will not have a hearing on that. She won't. They'll drop the criminal charge. Well, I do all this, and you know, it becomes one thing. She knew she was going to arrest me when I walked into that building. That's why we were met by 6 cops in the courtroom. And then after this part, we take a break because she's supposed to go with her dad. They make my witnesses, the people here recording, leave the court building altogether and bring in 6 more cops, star chamber it.
Shame on those police. Shame on those police for sticking up for what's going on in courthouses.
Shame on them.
That's huge. Shame on them. Number one, they're the ones who are defunding the police. Okay, so stop sticking up for them, police. How dare them? They're supposed to be on the people's side. So I'm sorry that did that. How dare them? God, that's terrific.
My daughter and I were sitting there with 15 cops standing around us to make a little girl go back to her dad's.
And it's an administrative court, not a criminal court, which is a huge difference. And The judge did that is because once you have a charge, your voice becomes less.
Yep.
Right,
If you
And she knew that. She knew that.
what they're doing.
right, exactly. All right, I'll
Go ahead, continue it. Yeah.
yeah,
The hearing that was requested by Ms. Freiner on Friday of last week, that hearing was conducted by, or phone conference was conducted by phone. At that time, Ms. Freiner selected the date and time for the criminal contempt motion. The court has indicated, in that criminal contempt motion, the court required Ms. Freiner to appear and bring the child again the second time. Court started at 1, Ms. Freiner appeared about 1:20 with the child. Court has indicated its intent, if the child is going to be turned over to dad, to not proceed today with the motion for criminal contempt, and also the writ of habeas corpus that was filed in the 21 SLDR 00544 case. Does anyone want to state anything for the record on the record?
Your Honor, after you can't hear me, out on the record, Delilah did call me, yesterday stating that she did not want to go with her dad, that he touches her. There was an open CPS, in the state that he lives in. I contacted them, they stated that the case was closed and that they would send me information. I have not received any information, but they did state that the case is closed at this point and that both Delilah and her dad are interviewed.
Thank you. Ms. Freiner, my understanding is you're turning over the minor child today. Is that what you've told the court?
I brought her in like you asked me to.
Thank you. So at this point in time, if anyone has nothing else for the record, then I'm going to ask the minor child to go ahead and go to dad and for those parties to leave the courthouse. Petitioner, I'm going to ask you to remain here for about 15 minutes while they clear the courthouse. That's common how we do that, okay? All right, that will conclude our record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
okay, and now that's a setup. So instead of allowing me and my 3 witnesses to leave, so Delilah could leave with her dad without it being an issue, she tells Delilah to go with her dad and me to sit there in the courtroom while, they leave, give them time to get out to their car, whatever. And then, they do this and then try to say that I'm not trying to give my child back to them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, if they wanted it to go like they planned on it to go, like they're saying they planned for it to go, they should have let me and my party leave at that time, but they didn't. They had,
They contradicted their own narrative.
right. So then we sit and we wait and, she comes back out. There's a second part of this that's not on this, video because
Well, I want you to play the part for Desiree that was
right.
where
That's
she
what I'm
says,
getting
if you
to
don't
right
go with
now.
your dad, I'm going to put your mom in jail, so you'll have to go
Right.
with him.
If you let me finish, that's what I was gonna say. The video wouldn't transfer out of the phone in one video, so it got.
Oh, it's on
broken
the
up
second
and,
part.
like,
Gotcha.
yeah, so I have to, okay, so she takes this break, so then the next audio, well, it's actually, I believe video 2, yeah, it's video 2. This next video, as soon as I find it, it's when she comes back out and they, they start trial again because Delilah wouldn't leave with him.
Real quick, was this before or after the Cash for Kids LLC video, a Zoom meeting?
Right
This is
around
the same day that
same
it
day.
came out to the public. The
So-
meeting already had happened,
This
but
is the day that it got released to the public.
this is
the call
the
got
same day
released.
that they released it was the same day, yes. So they're releasing this as I'm sitting in court and this is going on. I think by the time I was arrested, the Zoom call had already been released that day. Like, so these were going on like side by side to each other.
How'd you get that Zoom call released, or they did it voluntarily?
Somebody hacked into the
Someone
meeting
recorded
and
it. There was
recorded it.
a mole or somebody or a whistleblower within their
organization.
little organization.
Yeah.
Nobody knows still who leaked the Zoom call, but they leaked it to Mike Velope. Mike Velope put it out. And then
Wow.
Megan Fox had picked up my story. So it just all kind of blew up it just all kind of went crazy at one time. You know what I mean?
Well, that video being the same day as that court hearing shows, collusion, minimal.
Right.
I
Obviously.
it's just to the point where how could anybody expect a fair hearing, especially in a criminal
It's
matter with that?
completely geared to not give you one.
So I would motion to dismiss immediately based on the video itself. We could find the legal term. honestly, they would have to throw it out. And if they don't, it's an error in the court. They need to dismiss themselves off of any case that they want to hold against you from now on.
Well, the whole entire circuit did recuse off my criminal case.
Okay.
And the
So-
whole entire circuit, I ended up spending a second week in jail.
Yeah, the whole 21st Circuit recused themselves.
Criminal case, just the criminal case, and stayed on my family case though, because I still
Yeah.
had a family case going alongside with this. My family case just ended in May. So the whole time I have this criminal case going on, I have a family case going on because he filed at the same time when he filed the TRO and the habeas corpus, he filed a modification to modify again, which we just modified in August of 2020. We just had a trial where she was taken from my home to his home and placed in Montana for school. So he was the primary address for schooling, which they switched it after 14 years of her being with me. They moved her to Montana 2 weeks into her freshman year of high school.
Okay, so we're not worried about the criminal anymore.
No, that's all I got going on right now is the criminal.
Yeah, that's all that's going on. That's what she's facing right now. The family's already been done. They already took her custody.
They swiped my custody from me.
So they all recuse themselves. Then who's doing the criminal case?
So they all recused themselves. It got sent over to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court gave it to a judge out of St. Louis City, the 22nd Circuit. He's the one that did my bond hearings. After my bond hearings, they had trial and everything set up. All that got canceled. They took it to the grand jury. The grand jury came back with an indictment. And then they say they have July 28th as an arraignment date, but that's in error. I wasn't arraigned on that day. I didn't make a plea that day. The judge put a plea in on my behalf. Now, so that wasn't allowing me to plead guilty or not guilty. So technically, in my opinion, I haven't been arraigned because I haven't pled to anything.
Right. And this is all based on an email?
All on this email, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely want to look at that whenever you can.
Okay.
Get that audio first, Ken, if you can. If you have to go to your YouTube, go there. But
I don't have this other video like that on the YouTube. It's in my.
no, I know, but I just wanted to hear the audio, what the judge told your daughter.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for it. You know how my stuff's all crazy. It's
Yeah, I
here
do.
though, because I just got it. I just downloaded it again.
Okay.
Because I found this, because I lose them. You know this.
Yeah, I
I
know.
just
We're
found it
all
again.
getting interference from time to time, like with our shit.
Let me
There's an
try
issue
going
with
to
that.
my drive. It's crazy. But
I
it's
think
what
you sent it to me on the messenger. You'll probably find it there. I believe you sent it not too long ago. It might be easy.
the email.
Oh, no,
No, she needs the audio, the core audio.
Oh,
of
I
Judge
did
Delberger
just-
telling your daughter if she doesn't go with your
yeah, I think
her
you
dad.
sent it to me on messenger. If you want to look there, it might be easy.
Okay. Because we take that break and her dad's trying to convince her to go with her. And then there's a third recording from that day. So after my people got kicked out of court, Delilah's phone got turned on. And so there's a third recording where it's the last conversation I ever had with my daughter face to face is basically what's on the third recording. Because this is the last day I've seen my daughter. That was the last time I seen her, was in this court hearing.
How old is your daughter?
She just turned 16 in July.
Oh,
At
this is
at the time of this hearing, she was 15.
ridiculous. That
She was
they're
15.
putting her. She's, I mean, in some countries, an adult. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. They're putting a teenager through this.
And she didn't,
Right.
she testified she didn't want to live with him, that, she felt safer with me, that he manipulated her. She was uncomfortable with him, all this stuff. And it just didn't matter. It didn't matter what that's why I know this was a fixed case, because I have recordings, because I've recorded everything. I have recordings of them case fixing right in front of me.
So what is your thoughts on why they did that? Does your ex have some sort of in with these people, or
Tell
he's
her about the new wife that he's got and what her connection.
Something's going on for sure with him and his new wife. I'm not sure yet. So I can't say one way or another, but I do know there's something that's very fishy that doesn't make sense. Like the money doesn't make sense. Where's the money coming from? Nobody knows, it doesn't make sense. So
you looked her up as far as the nonprofits go, or
Tell her what she does for a living. What we think, isn't she behind the, like, getting this whole case, this whole thing freaking set up? I mean, isn't that what we've talked about? You believe, right?
Who?
His wife, James's wife.
Oh, yeah, there's something going on there. She works for a home builder. She's like,
Oh,
and
it's called redevelopment. It's called redevelopment.
yeah, and he works as a painter.
Have you heard of that term before?
Say it again.
Redevelopment.
No.
See if she's involved, or that county is involved with the redevelopment plan.
Well, see, we found connections to, like, what we think that there's some money laundering going on with some real estate is what we suspect from what we've been able to find out on the way on not
We
the
have
way
that
back
here
machine,
in
but
my
on
county.
Intellius. Yeah, through
We have
background
that
checks.
in our county. Actually, it is called a collaborative connected investors. That's what it's called. Connected investors. And it's where a bunch of people here in my county, they're municipality employees or previous. So all the utility workers are the target finders, and they find homes and they pretty much steal them for less than they should.
But like a lot of these home purchases are cash purchases too. This which is the red flag indicator that to us indicates that there may be some money laundering going on through this.
And they weaponize the county courts, and they weaponize the code enforcement and taxes to get people out of their homes and purchase them cheap.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, now there's something very questionable with his home on his comp report. It's like they sell it to themselves at one point, but using her maiden name for his last name. They switched their last names around. It's like going into their background check is like one rabbit hole after another. Like, it's just insane. Like, my background check's lame. Like, that doesn't have, like, you're in and out of it. It's like, this was boring. But I mean, it's just, you go down one rabbit hole to another and it comes back. I've been pulling links and trailing it down back to like cam girl sites. And, just highly questionable that it comes back. His wife comes back to a site called Elite, which is like,
oh yeah, I remember that we were doing that background search when on one time we were looking up, like, I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
I was searching again over the weekend. We were diving back in because it'd been a few months since I had, and I went to a different search engine and I found her with Russian. She's on Russian sites, like. I don't know. One of the companies that she said she worked.
I know,
for,
right?
on the Russian site was a kindergarten like a kindergarten school, and they made $220 billion a year. This kindergarten school did for private schooling for kindergartners. And like it said at the bottom, this page can be deleted instantly, like by clicking this button. It's all questionable, but I know it's her because it's her name, her birthday, and it goes through an email. You can get through it through the background check. Is like it all connects together, and then there's an email that comes up with when you do a background check on him, his wife, and his brother. There's one email in particular that comes up for all three of them.
Okay.
So there's something going on. The brother's the one that came to Missouri and took her. So he plays a big role in this.
When you do your searches, you'll find that a lot of the associated names connected to these people are dead people. 70-year-old, usually
They
around
are
70.
because they're stealing their ID.
I know that I knew back in the day. I knew a bunch of people that were doing that were making money, making bank, doing false tax filings, but they were using the identities of dead people to do it, and that's how they were getting away with it.
A lot of people are doing that, and you know what? I wonder how long it's been going on. I don't know, but I think they call it racketeering. Is the technical term.
That's what it is when you're doing any kind of thing, misappropriating any kind of funds like that. Really,
The FBI just asked permission to prosecute racketeering enterprises. So, FYI.
Say what?
The FBI just asked permission from Congress to start prosecuting racketeering.
Well, that's good. That's good. At least now somebody's trying to do something, hopefully. Shit.
Well, because you guys is foreign, it's been foreign influence for a minute. And yeah, now that they realize we weren't bullshitting about that. Yeah, Russia and CCP are all up in it. All up in our
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
the algorithm, CCP. Russia
CCP
is
for sure.
all of their agencies. I mean, the influence isn't hard to do with human behavior and psychology. So they've done this.
No, it's not. I mean, it's Psych 101. I mean, if you understand how the human mind works and how the mind processes traumas and shit like that, you can eat. It's not that difficult. You just got to keep people. The more people are in a spirit-based state of mind, the easier it is to control them. So that's what we got to realize is we got to not succumb to the fear of people and start stepping outside of the emotion of it and be objective about it and take a good hard objective look at it. And that's how we're going to escape that fucking.
And that's what they want you
trap.
is in fear. They really
exactly
like it when you're scared. That's their favorite.
Isn't it so communist?
They feed off that shit. They feed off that shit.
They do. They do. I'm glad there is a whistleblower in there to release this. That means you do have a couple good people in the background.
That's always
Nobody
good. Yeah.
knows who the whistleblower was that released the Zoom call. Nobody's ever found out. So
Sounds like a Q-team thing.
what? It sounds like what?
A Q-team move.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It does, doesn't it?
They did, the anonymous did send something to the
Yeah,
judge.
it was in the discovery. Go ahead,
They did
tell
my
her.
discovery paperwork about them sending a message about doxing her and some other stuff. The day I got arrested, I think it was on the 5th. Also, I think is the day they sent that. So yeah, they've made their appearance in this case in a way.
Then they're watching these people hardcore, and yeah,
Yeah, it got to be.
that's cool. That
I
was
know, isn't
definitely
that cool to have that connect? Like that's like whoa, like this is big.
Yeah,
If,
it's
if,
really
if,
cool.
if that's going on, this is big. This is big.
watched those people before and have been, and that Zoom was just so great. So they released it. So wow, that's amazing. So those people are being watched. Absolutely, they will not comment because they're under investigation. Definitely.
By the FBI.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, there's been some rumors of that, and a lot of things have been going down in St. Louis with a lot of indictments going out and people being arrested, like our alderman and just different key players in the community all over. St.
Really?
Louis. Yeah,
Interesting. That that's confirmation of what I've been hearing
they've been
through the
laundering money
grapevine, like
through
from the
St.
intel
Louis.
community about stuff going on, but I haven't been able to confirm anything until you just said that.
Yeah, I believe it was some Russians and the old mayor for New York were funneling their money through our carpenters union, I believe, through St. Louis. I think it was our carpenters union they were doing that with, and a bunch of aldermen. I know at least 3 aldermen just stepped down and have been indicted. Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy things going on here in St. Louis with with the corrupt, because this place is so crooked. I mean, everybody's corrupt in our system here. Everybody. Your police, they're all of them work together.
A lot has gotten out of hand because, like I said, the communist seed has just gotten out of hand with the human psychology, etc. It's not hard to influence this kind of behavior. So we're trying to get back to the basics and not have to put everybody in jail. So this is good. The more whistleblowers, the better.
Right. It's funny. Did you guys ever imagine like 10, 15 years ago we'd be facing communism again today? I know I sure as hell didn't. Communism and freaking fascism to some extent, because what a lot of these bastards that are guilty of this medical freaking genocide and shit, they got actually ties to the to World War II Nazis, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how they got rid of the talk of communism? They made it a mockery. They said we were being paranoid, so they stopped talking about it. So our whole generation never even tripped on it. We thought it was just
right. They stopped talking about it. They made it a non-issue. So if you don't know about it, then there's not an issue. Because it's not in the public consciousness. That's easy to do if you control the media, which we know they do through Operation Mockingbird now, and they're still doing it. It's just obvious now.
Mockery. Yeah, totally. And they did that, and they still do the mockery. How they mocked Cash for Kids LLC, and I'll start laughing. That is definitely one of the moves. Mockery.
Oh yeah, big time. What they either think they're
you find that video yet or no?
No, I'm trying. I'll let you know as soon as I find it.
Well, you want to just bring it up? I just want to hear the audio about what the judge said.
It's really strange because it's like nothing that I need is there right now.
Of course not.
Like,
it always happens though, because we get interference nonstop.
And I just pulled all this stuff together because I've been, pulling stuff together for evidence on this case because I want to take it to federal court. And I've been trying to pull all the case fixing and stuff together. So it was really organized and everything was right where it was. And now nothing is where I had it.
Why don't you see do you know where your email is? You could pull that in your email and just search Gmail for it.
Well, the thing is, I had this nice.
Well, that's what I keep telling everybody.
Copy
Email stuff to themselves. I do it all the time.
I do that too. I had this nice enhanced copy of it. So let me check my email, see if I can find it there. Cause I've already went to my drive and was not able to find it in my drive.
Oh,
I didn't find it in my drive here, which is kind of weird. Unless this is it, or it's the same one we listened to. Let's see. It's really actually starting to make me mad. I'm really getting kind of mad with it.
Well, it would make me mad too. I mean,
let me find my video.
I've seen the interference going on. I've had people remote into my system or try it anyways. I caught them red-handed, like ever since I started covering this human trafficking issue. So, like, I mean, we're making way where people are fucking with us. If they're fucking with us, we're doing something right.
Now, this is the same audio we already listened to. Okay, because like I said, it came out of the out from the phone in 3 parts. And like all of this is just audio that I've got from recording this courts and stuff.
Well, wouldn't it be by date?
Yeah, no, like nothing. I've searched by date already. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like they've really gotten into it today. I just went and searched by date. Nothing came up. Except for the one video that I've already had. Now this might be it right here. One of these videos. Let's see. I don't want to open it that way. This might be it. It starts off, all rise. Yeah, this is it.
All right, cool.
Appreciate that there are emotions.
Hold on, let me try starting this again because it's a way better audio than that.
All right.
I appreciate that there are emotions that are running right now. And I understand that your wishes are that you say you want to express your wishes before we put your evidence on that.
No, I don't know why it's playing like this. This actually, she's talking into
download it and open it from the
okay,
computer.
because she's actually talking in a microphone and she's actually really loud in this part of the audio. So why it's playing like that, I don't know. Let me try downloading it.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell you, man. I've just learned not to let this upset me too much, but tonight is really starting to, like, my face is red.
Yeah.
Like I'm hot. It's like making me so mad. Like I'm hot to the touch. Like my face is like burning up. I'm just kind of like just irked right at the moment with it all.
Here, let me play that Cash for Kids beginning. I got it. If you let me screen share.
Okay.
Oh, you got this one. Never mind.
Go ahead. I'm going to see if I get the volume to the audio to work better.
All right.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Desiree. Share it.
All right. Here we go. Oh, wait. I got to share a screen. Huh? Here we go. Screen share. Here we go.
Make sure to share your audio too.
Oh, I don't know if it.
Are you on your phone or your computer? If it's on your computer,
I'm on the laptop.
Okay, so we click on the little 3 horizontal dots, and then look for share sound. There you go.
Yeah, that was it. Did you hear it?
Yeah, we can hear it.
There was a civil rights investigation that concluded
Oops.
that this involves rights
Anyway.
violated based in part on your conduct.
I hate those little context boxes.
LLC.
See?
There we go. Go ahead.
I thought that was classic. Okay, that's it. Let me stop screen sharing. If
Yeah, I
can.
hate those little context boxes that they put on everything now. It's so stupid. You know what I'm
Okay,
talking
cool.
about? The little context boxes that YouTube has at the bottom. Oh, that's just bullshit.
Yeah. Let's see, I had Cash for Kids LLC for the beginning.
We're ready whenever you are, Dottie. He's probably still adjusting the audio.
They're probably radiating her if her cheeks are hot. That means it's stress and radiation, probably. She needs to get that app.
All right, let's see if this works better in here.
All right.
Oh, it's still uploading the audio into the program. Okay, there it is.
Share your screen.
I appreciate that there are emotions that
I can put this in full view.
But I understand that your wishes are that you say you want to express your wishes before the court directions on that. But this, a peaceful transition is what we need to happen today. And I want to be real clear with everybody. The court ordered evidence and the court entered a judgment. Okay? And thereafter there were post-trial motions that challenged the court's ruling, because I understand, you know, there was disagreement about the court's judgment. That usually happens in marriage, it really happens. Someone's gonna be disappointed. That's why I try so hard, as you would know, to try to resolve this. So that we don't get to the point where we're here, and we're having this issue. At this point in time, the only motions before the court that I can move on are the motions that that filed, okay?
See if I can turn it up a little. Hold on.
I'm gonna have to switch devices soon.
Okay.
All right.
Is that better?
It sounds better to me.
It sounds a lot better to me. Thank you.
You may be seated.
I appreciate that there are emotions that are running through my mind right now, but I understand. that-
You got to do the whole thing. You only
No,
on
it's
that. Like,
that part of, no, that's the part of the video. It does that regardless.
oh, okay.
But this, a peaceful transition is what we need to happen today. And I want to be real clear with everybody. The court ordered evidence and the court entered a judgment, okay? And thereafter there were post-trial motions that challenged the court's ruling, because I understand, you know, there was disagreement about the court's judgment. That usually happens in marriage, it really happens. Someone's gonna be disappointed. That's why I try so hard, as you would know.
Just let the whole thing
to try
play
to resolve this.
That's what it
So
is.
that we don't get to the point
I can't hear you.
where we're having this issue.
I said let it play all the way through. I think this is the best we're going to get for right now.
I'm not messing with it.
Are the motions that that filed, okay? I want to be very clear with you. That's, I have to enforce the law, and the law is requiring me to turn you over to dad based on the court's judgment. Now, what I can do today, and I don't want to do it, is I can proceed on the criminal contempt case against Ms. Freiner. That could result in Ms. Freiner finding time next door at jail. I don't want to do that, okay? What I want to do today is for there to be a peaceful transition to dad. Mom can file everything she's got, and the court will make time for everything she's got. Like I always have. She wanted a hearing last week, I gave her a conference. Court treats everybody fairly. But in front of the court today, the only thing I can do is require you today to go with your dad, okay? I understand you don't want to. Why do you want to? Because that is the court's judgment, and the court's judgment is going to be enforced until there's another motion or something something else that the court rules on, if the court feels it should.
Turn your audio back up, Dottie. You turned it
I
down.
didn't turn it down.
Somebody did.
Oh,
You just muted yourself on there somehow. Your audio's not working anymore.
I don't know what that was about. Hold on. I don't know. I didn't do that.
What the hell's going on here?
I didn't do that.
I hit my mute at that same time. Oops.
Now this thing don't want to play at all.
Who knows what's going on? Yeah, that whole case is weird because at her age, I mean, why would they put a teenager through that? If she doesn't want to go with her dad, that's just normal to say, okay.
Especially at that age. Now
Yeah.
it won't play at all, dude. I don't even know.
What the hell is going on here?
Do you hear audio? Because I don't.
I don't hear audio either.
I mean, just that portion that
I think they muted your system volume because that's what it
Here we
looked
go.
like.
Wait a minute.
Requiring me
There we go.
to turn you over to dad based on the court's judgment. Now, what I can do today, and I don't want to do it, is I can proceed on the criminal contempt case against Ms. Freiner. That could result in Ms. Freiner having time next door at jail. I don't want to do that, okay? What I want to do today is for there to be a peaceful transition to dad. And mom can file everything she's got, and the court will make time for everything she's got. Like I always have. She wanted a hearing last week, I gave her a conference. Court treats everybody fairly. But in front of the court today, the only thing I can do is require you today to go with your dad, okay? I understand you don't want to. Why are you going to? Because that is the court's judgment, and the court's judgment is going to be enforced until there's another motion or something else that the court rules on that the court feels it should work on. All the court can do is look at what's in front of it and make rulings. I understand you're not happy with the court's judgment. I understand that. But it's nevertheless the court's judgment. I don't want to have to proceed on the criminal contempt case today. Ms. Freiner did what I asked her to do. She's brought you here. I don't want to proceed on the fact that she missed last week and have a hearing on that and then say something and send her to jail. That's not my hope. My hope is that there's a peaceful transition to dad and that Ms. Freiner gets to go home today with her friends and her family who can support her. You go with dad, and then we're going to talk about what happens with you after that. That's the transition. I don't want you looking at her. I want you looking at me, okay? I understand you're not happy about it, but that's the way this is going to go. And I understand. That's not my preference. I told Ms. Freiner that last week. I don't put anyone in jail. I have not had to do it to date. I've been on the bench 3 years. I've never had to put anyone in jail. But that will be my next move. And then you don't go home with mom. So we can make this easy and do this easy, or we can do it the hard way. And that's what I told Ms. Freiner last week. The easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
I still don't understand. Okay, because I go along with him. Whenever I told you, like, touching me, if I'm not happy there, he literally had an ankle monitor. You're still gonna make me.
She says to her, I still don't understand why you're going to make me go with her when I told you he's been touching me. He literally has an ankle monitor. That's what she's telling the judge right now. I know it's really mumbled, but that's what she's telling her because James was on probation for domestic violence and he had an ankle monitor on his ankle the whole time during these court hearings.
Okay.
Hey, the judge is clear herself into her judgment.
Excuse me?
The judge is clearly trying to talk herself into her judgment.
Yeah. Well, there's another key thing I'm going to point out here in a minute too, and it's really weird. I'll show you when it's something the judge says.
There's no evidence of any of the sexual.
But this is what I'm telling you.
I
Nobody knows my emotions more than I do. And nobody can say my experiences are not valid because I was the person that experienced
I understand.
So I don't understand. No, you don't understand. If you understood, you wouldn't force me to go with a child molester.
No, Delilah, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Hold on.
See?
The court heard evidence, okay? And the evidence the court heard is what the court made a determination on. There is now pending a motion to modify, another motion to modify. So this case isn't done. I thought I would be done with your family, honestly, when I entered my judgment. There's now another motion to modify, back before the court. So this isn't ending tonight, okay? Your case is not ending. are still things that are gonna happen with this case after today. But right now, the court's judgment, that's what the court has to enforce. And I appreciate your position is you want to be with mom. I considered that in my judgment. And that's one of the factors. I don't know if you read the judgment, I hope you did, because you're not supposed to, but there are factors that the court considers. The child's position is only one of the factors the court considers. The court considers about 10 factors. And the court, and the law is very clear. The child's position is one of many factors, and it's not the controlling factor. It's never the controlling factor, because children are still children. They're still children. You're still a child. You're not 18. You don't get to make these decisions. In 4 years, you're going to be making these decisions for yourself. You're going to be calling the shots. But until you hit that age, the court is controlling the custody between the parties.
The court is controlling the custody between the parties until she hits 18. That is what
Wow.
she just told my
That's
daughter.
bullshit.
Controlling, because we are slaves, right?
That's some bullshit.
I understand you're not happy, but that's your choice. And I don't want to have to put anyone in jail today for any crime. I don't. I really want this to be peaceful. Let that take you. And the next thing we're going to be doing is another conference on this case, because there's a motion modified. The case is going to continue. I understand your mom wants you back here. I get it. I understand you want to be back here. I get it. But until we have another trial, the judgment stands as it is. You had a long time to be with your mom since December. So you had a chance to see her and hang out with her and stay with her. Now you gotta go back with dad. So I'd like you to just say goodbye to mom again and head out.
Right there. She goes, I'd like for you to say goodbye to mom and dad. Why in the world would that judge tell my daughter to say goodbye to both of us at that moment?
Play that last part real quick.
Okay.
You had a long time to be with your mom since December. So you had a chance to see her and hang out with her and stay with her. Now you gotta go back with dad. So I'd like you to just say goodbye to mom again and head out with dad.
It sounds like she said say goodbye to mom again.
She says mom and dad. If you, I know it's really hard to hear.
All right, play one more time for
I've heard it 100 times, but yeah.
You had a long time to be with your mom since December. So you had a chance to see her and hang out with her and stay with her. Now you gotta go back with dad. So I'd like you to just say goodbye to mom again and head out with dad.
Sounded like say goodbye to mom again and head out with dad.
She says, what I hear is say goodbye to mom and dad.
I heard the D at the end of that word.
Done this before with your mom. She did this too. We almost put her in jail, what, 12 months ago? Yeah.
Yeah, she threatened me a year ago, almost to the day of this.
And we reached a resolution then, because that's not my preference. But in about 5 minutes, we're gonna proceed to a hearing, and your mom, the result is likely your mom's going to jail. Because she violated last week's order. I don't wanna do it.
But she is telling you to go. It's me refusing, not her.
I'm telling you the consequence.
But why is it being put upon her?
Because she took other conduct that she didn't come to last week with you. She enrolled you in school against the court's order. She's done a lot of things in violation of this court's order. Admittedly, she's been very honest with the court about what she's done. And she can do what she wants to do. The result of her conduct in violation of the court order, however, is that she has to have consequences for her conduct.
Consequences for your conduct. There's the term.
She has free will.
Wow.
Her free will could end up her up in jail. Did y'all already leave?
Yes, ma'am, I can call her back if you like.
Yeah, go ahead.
So his attorney already had left. His attorney wasn't in the room for this.
Wow.
I ended up going to jail just shortly after this. It wasn't much longer after this that I ended up going.
This is when she says, "Go if you don't go with your dad, I'm gonna put your mom in jail, so you have to go with your dad." This is that audio, right?
Yeah, right here.
I understand that, but unfortunately, the court's judgment has already been made. I'm enforcing the court's judgment. And I'm not gonna have this conversation again with you. It's gonna end up the same way. I'm telling you the options. And when Ms. Freiner is taken to jail, you are not gonna have a parent to go home with other than that. And that's not what the court wants to do, trust me. The court does not want Ms. Freiner in jail. The court wants you with dad and Ms. Freiner back in her house. Are you ready to go with dad? All right. We'll do it the hard way.
All right, we'll do it the hard way.
Can you let downstairs know that we're gonna get the attorney back up there? All right, in 10 minutes, we'll start the hearing. I'm really, guys, it's illogical what's going on now. If Reiner's gonna go to jail,
I saw I remembered it differently. I could have swore it was phrased differently. Maybe I'm just tripping.
It could be, like I said, there's 3 parts. It could be in that third part that I'm still trying to find.
Okay, gotcha.
Because there is another part. And then there's also the audio that was recorded on Delilah's phone.
Gotcha.
But
I was talking
don't
about the one on your YouTube channel. That one's a pretty good one. The one that
I don't know.
I think it was the one with the fish on it.
Oh, that's the cops. Oh, no, that's me talking with the first attorney.
Well, there's a one on there. I can't remember if it was that one or was the devil one of the Zellweger. It was one of, I think it might be the devil one of Zellweger, the one with that cover photo.
Okay, let me see. Well, because, you know, you might be thinking of the one when they were threatening me in 2020. In February 2020, they were threatening me to take Delilah and throw me in prison for not listening to their orders. In 2020, a year ago, almost a year to the date. So a year on February 5th, 2020, they were threatening to put me in prison and take my child away from me for not have taken the drug the court ordered drug test at that time. And then February 10th, 2021, they're threatening to take my child and actually did at that time.
Look, we can see our live notification of this podcast right now on your screen share.
So, yeah, I mean, it was a year. I held them off from taking her for a year because it was almost a year to the date that they took her.
Yeah, I'm just amazed by this judge.
I know, right? Like, I'm appalled.
If she believes this is a child, why is she explaining herself to her?
Yeah. Well, because she was talking to her like she understood what she was talking about.
But I mean, if she's treating her.
so we'll ask Ms. Freiner and the attorney.
Okay, that's the first one.
That's the first one, yeah.
You know, you don't explain yourself.
I think it's that one, yeah.
This one here?
I think so, yeah.
This is the 29th hearing, I think. This is the hearing leading up to the 10th.
Is that her?
This is the judge.
Okay. Yeah, she knows what she's doing is wrong.
There's been people knocking on my.
You can hear it in her voice. So who's
your daughter? I'm not keeping Delilah. Yeah, I understand that, and I'm not keeping her. I'm not.
Ma'am, when you don't answer the door to police officers who are there to obtain custody of the child, you are keeping her. Okay? I want to make this clear to you because, like I said, this can be done the easy way or this can be done the very hard way. And the hard way is going to be a lot more negative for Delilah than if you just bring her to court and let her be taken back by dad. Okay? Ms. Freiner, I'm really trying to work with you. I know you don't believe me, but I am. Okay? So I need you.
No, I don't know. Is that one it? But go forward a little bit.
The next step is going to be officers showing up at your house and dragging her out of the house. And I don't think you want that, and I don't think I want that. That's why I've been trying.
Is this it or no?
For this to be done in a way that's peaceful.
Can we go forward a little bit,
I
Angie?
would not want to go. What do you?
I'm trying to find the part where what I was talking about, the one I'm thinking of.
Was that a judge or a
And I
cop?
need you to answer the
That's a
door.
judge.
You can do that.
Okay, May I please the court?
Let's see, and then Delilah talks to her in this
She's
hearing.
not been out of school. No, she's not been out of school.
Oh, she got so mad.
Your child is attending school every day,
She got mad because I enrolled my child back into school.
and where is she attending remote school from?
Yeah, this ain't the hearing. This is the
Today, based on what you've just
the
told
first
me,
TRO
why the
hearing.
court just picked
Yeah,
the
it's got to be a
next
different one of the other
When
ones.
she's
But I think you
telling
had
me that the
recover on.
cops are gonna come and drag my child out of the house. And it might be this one, but this one was in 2020, a year
That's
prior.
secondary. I mean, here's my concern.
Okay.
If you don't have $300 to take a drug test, then I'm going to put you in jail and you're going to sit there. And then I want to be real clear about what that's going to do. If you're not there to take care of your daughter, I'm transferring custody to dad. That means she gets on a plane the day I put you in jail, and she's sitting then in Montana and going to school in Montana.
That was the first time she was threatening me. Is that the one you're talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about the one where she was telling your daughter when she didn't want to go with her dad. And she said, if you don't go with your dad, I'm going to put your mom in jail so you have no choice but to go with your dad. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was the one we were listening
With this to get the
Okay.
phone number if it hangs up on you guys.
I just remembered it a little bit
01
differently.
case,
That's
so
all. I'm probably just remembering it
we can
incorrect.
get you on Zoom if you want to do that. Same thing with you.
This is
I don't like being there. I don't like living there. I tried. I did try. And that's the saddest I've ever been. So it's not like I didn't make an attempt to, make it work, or I didn't follow by what the court had to say, because I did try. But whenever you're constantly being suppressed and you're so depressed that you don't even want to live anymore, why force a child to go back into that situation?
Unfortunately, there are ways that you can bring things to the court's attention, but the way you don't bring things to the court's attention is by violating a court order. So there are things that can be filed, but right now, the only thing that's in front of me is the judgment that requires you to be with your dad at this time. So that's what I have to enforce at this point in time. I tell you to reach out to your guardian. That's why we have guardians in cases. So reach out to Venus. I know you have a good relationship with her, and talk to her between now and Wednesday, but the court expects you to follow the court's order, okay?
Can I ask a question on has Ms. Freiner took her to a therapist to diagnose all those the way Delilah's feeling right now?
Bring that email up.
My
next
dad
when you can.
didn't take me to counseling while I was there.
I'm asking about your mom. Did she take you?
No, I don't. I'm happier here, and while I'm here, I don't feel the way that I do whenever I'm there. So there's no need for me to get counseling while I'm here.
Did you request counseling from your dad when you were up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
so Delilah had a lot of opportunity and addressed the court and told them exactly how she felt, what was going on, how she did try to live with him, that she became so depressed, she felt suicidal there. I mean, she was pleading out, because this is the second hearing. She spoke to the court 3 different times during all of this, telling them the same stuff over and over again. And I mean, they forced her into the mental ward because she was asking for help with basically, and I have not talked to her or seen her since that day.
So you know what you can do, what comes to mind is the major questions doctrine.
Bring up that email if you can. Go ahead.
Yeah, the major questions doctrine, and this is exactly what the Supreme Court is addressing when they're talking about the administrative deference and whatnot. Does it make your eyebrows raise when the whole event is heard? I mean, it's a major question. The court itself, so I would bring up the major questions doctrine to fight this.
The major what doctrine was it called?
Major questions doctrine.
Okay.
Because that is exactly what the Supreme Court is talking about right now with all these cases they're addressing with administrations. Because it doesn't make you raise your eyebrows when you hear the outcome. I mean, it does. It's just that simple.
Right. The fact that I haven't spoke to her since is just.
Yeah, her age, she was articulate. Your child is smart. She
spoke well. She expressed herself. She stood up for herself. She,
acted like the court was a third party and she wasn't in charge, and the fact that the judge acted like talking to the child didn't make a difference. I'm sorry, but testifying overrides anything written.
Right, well, you're right. But she keeps telling her there's no motions before the court. So this is prior to that day in court when she told me I could file my filings at the end of the court. So she's telling us, well, you have no motions in with the court, but yet they won't let me put any motions in with the court. You know what I mean?
Well, verbally testifying supersedes anything motioned or written. So actually the judge is lying. She knows that.
Right.
She knows that anybody who testifies, it supersedes anything written.
Well, and she's just straight lying to us, telling us we had nothing in with the courts, which I had all the documents needed. Like I said, they wouldn't let me file anything.
And the judge acknowledged that all those could be filed, but then why are you trying to talk yourself into your judgment? Like, she's trying to talk herself into her judgment being the right thing to do, and she knows it's wrong.
Right.
You could clearly hear the judge knows what she's saying is wrong.
Right. And that's why the consequences for your conduct is something she was telling my daughter. Here's the email. I used her words back to her. So did she feel guilty? Why she felt threatened? Was it she felt threatened because she felt guilty because she did something wrong? Or was it that her words, when she said consequences for your conduct, were they threatening towards me? Because I just used the same words she used.
Can you read it? I can't read it.
It says, I demand my custody put back in place and my daughter be released to me today. You are taking her childhood away from her and doing irreversible damage. I am no longer asking. I am demanding that you lift the TOR and return my rights and my daughter to me today. The court does not have the right to hold my daughter against her will or traffic her across the country. She's not returned to me today. There will be consequences for your conduct. You have stepped over the line for any kind of immunity as a judge. I will not be continually ignored by this court. I have rights and they are to be recognized by this court. Return Delilah today. That was it.
That's too ambiguous to be prosecuted in a criminal court. So you're fine.
Well, they want to say because it's in all caps, because it's in all capitals. Supposedly I'm yelling at the judge. I didn't know that all capitals was yelling. So obviously that's a perception. Like, it's all about how you perceive.
Right.
That.
I never knew that either.
Yeah.
You can't put tone in text, number one, but
yeah, no, you can't, because context is lost in text.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But that's been one of their things, is that it was all in caps locks,
yeah,
stupid shit like that.
Any grand jury that says there was something wrong with that email is wrong.
They came back with a true bill, the grand jury did. And I didn't even know they were taking it to the grand jury. And I didn't know I had been indicted. The way I found out I was indicted was by not an email, but a text message from David Judy, the uncle that came and took my daughter. He messaged me this ignorant message about being indicted by the grand jury. And that's how I found out I was indicted.
Now, the district attorney is the one who presents it to the grand jury, right?
Right. But why would a man in Arizona that just trafficked my daughter out of state know I had been indicted before I knew?
Yeah, so that district attorney obviously is in with the judge, obviously, but that's also one-sided when it's grand jury.
Exactly. And I've tried to get discovery. I can't get anything on the grand jury. They won't give me, I should be able to get in the discovery.
At the very least, the final report released to the public?
They won't give me anything. I mean, what they gave me in a discovery is laughable.
So
yeah, but they've been trying to run interference for the longest time, trying to prevent her. They've been not filing.
The trial for this was originally set for April of 2021. Originally, I should have had trial in April of last year.
So can we just motion to dismiss on major questions?
I have like 100 times motion to dismiss.
And what do? Do they just not respond?
They told me they'll hear all my motions the day of trial.
Who tells you, the clerk?
No, the judge told me this. So after it went to the grand jury, it went to a new judge out of St. Charles, and now I have a judge out of St. Charles County that's presiding over this case. And I've put in all kinds of paper.
That's Judge Peggy, right?
What? No, that was my family court judge. It's
no. Who's the one? The one that was the same one that was in your pretrial, right? Hearing. that we got.
Right, Judge Fargus.
Oh,
or
Fargus. That's
Faggus.
right. My bad.
I call him Judge
Fargus.
Fargas. I don't know his real name really. It's Faggus or something. I don't know. Fargas. Judge Fargas is the one presiding over this case now, and he's been on it since the indictment.
Okay,
and he's the one that owns 2 adoption agencies. One in Florissant here in Missouri, which is it's a lower income neighborhood.
Well, of course he owns them. He's probably involved in the trafficking himself.
And the other adoption agency he owns is in Mexico.
That is such.
Oh yeah, definitely something especially going there. That's the first time I've heard that part.
Oh, you didn't know that part? And I found that
you never mentioned that before.
All right, so I want this wife's name and I want the judge's name, and I'll see what I can find.
Okay, I have an article that I pulled up when he was running for, I think, to be a judge. I don't know if it was just recently, but I believe it was in the last year or so. He just became the presiding judge for St. Charles County.
Okay, so he voted in?
I don't know. I don't, because our judges get appointed in and then they go back up to be voted in or whatever that, that's the kind of system we have. So I don't know how he got in there.
I'd go after his insurance. What do you call it? His bond.
His bond, yeah.
Because there's a conflict of interest with him owning foster homes.
You think?
Purely.
Huge conflict of interest. Huge conflict of interest.
Get his bond information. You should be able to get it from the clerk, his clerk. If they won't give it to you, HR, Human Resources should have it, the administrative offices.
But a couple other important key things about this case is there's no facts upon the record. The judge has never put any facts upon the record. The only person that's had any said anything in this case is a cop that took her report. And he does not have firsthand knowledge. He can't put the facts upon the record.
Remember, you're not dealing with illegal people here, so you got to remember.
I know. So
arguing a law they don't follow is pointless.
Well, there's no facts upon the record, and they're not allowing me to face my accuser.
Correct, and they're not going to let you do a lot of things, and they're not going to do a lot of things. And
well, the thing is, I mean, if they the thing is, this is going to go before a jury. So what are they going to do? Just completely run over me in front of 12 jurors?
So they are going to have a jury trial.
Yeah, yes, this is going to a jury trial. So what are they going to do in front of a jury? Just if they run over my rights like that in front of a juror and it's okay, I mean, you can kiss America goodbye. I mean, if they because they'll have to blatantly run over my rights because they have to produce the judge. They have to.
I would get that judge taken off your case because there's a conflict with these foster homes. You're talking about human trafficking.
I know.
On a podcast.
Exactly.
So it's clearly a conflict that he will see over any case of yours, being that he has invested interest in that matter.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Period. Arguing the law in his court is not going to work because he's going to tell the jury not to acknowledge anything you say.
Right.
So you got to get.
Well, he tried to convince me to take a judge trial. And
yeah, he said.
Also,
Go ahead, Dottie.
He also said he took 3 hours of that pre-trial, 3 hours trying to convince me to take this lawyer that he put on my case, that filed in on my case without my knowledge, that they won't take off my case.
They're standby counsel, basically.
They're calling him standby counsel, but
yeah, that's what they're calling him.
What he really is a handler. He's handling me. He's handling the case.
Not you. They're going to serve him and not you. They're going to have hearings behind your back using him and not
exactly. And I've been trying to get him off the case. I filed all the necessary paperwork multiple times to get him off the case, and they will not take this man off my case. I've even told the lawyer to get off my case.
We've had that issue before.
I mean, he filed in on my case without I didn't even know this was going on.
Yeah, I would get that judge off immediately. That's the best bet you have. Get his bond. I mean, stay focused. I want to get out of state court, but I don't know if going into the higher courts is going to do anything. Well, number one, we get him off because of the conflict, and then we try and get a panel for you if it's still going to be heard. Right. Well, I've been trying to get in touch with you for the last couple of weeks, and I haven't been successful at that, to talk to you about my case, to see,
because I have some ideas and I got some things already typed up and whatnot. And I
Totally
haven't been able to
dying.
get in touch with you.
Fever and I was dying. I was asleep for
No,
like
I get it. I get it. So yeah, so it's just like, this is a really important.
I gave you her contact info, right, Dottie?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this case, if they do this to me, because my daughter was trafficked when all this came out in front of all these people and was reported on in like real time, if they continue to go over and I end up getting 7 years, any family after me in that courthouse can kiss their rights goodbye. They will never have a fighting chance if they just blatantly run over me like this. Because if I don't have rights, nobody has rights. And that's just how it is for everybody.
It's kind of where we are right now with a lot of our cases.
Right. Yeah.
Mine is very similar. Mine got just pushed to the side, is up in the air, not closed. I didn't lose custody, but it's just a matter of when the social worker decides I can have my kids, I guess. But I'm wrapped up in so many other administrative issues like child support and the custody for my other kids. It's just absolutely overwhelming.
Well, I proved child trafficking in my family court case, and they still in May took my rights away from me. Even after I proved that they had trafficked my daughter, him and his lawyer.
Yeah, we got all that on audio too.
I recorded all of it. All the proof that I proved that in court. I proved it.
Right. Okay, so for your personal issue, yeah, we got to go for the bond. For the general issue that we're all dealing with is in progress. Like I said, Supreme Court is doing the major questions doctrine and turned around that EPA deference stuff and looking at Chevron again. They're really looking and examining Chevron deference, which is a huge deal. So it's just not fast enough for our children is the problem.
Right.
But yeah, in your personal case, the only thing you can do is get the judge removed and then motion to dismiss to another court.
And I've been trying to get the gun suppressed, because I know they're going to try to bring that into the trial. Because when they came to my house and jumped out of the car on me in my front yard, I had my gun on me. And they took my gun. It was never charged because it was a lawful gun. I legally owned it. Never was given a gun charge, but yet they took the gun.
Huh.
And they searched my purse when they had no reason to be even searching me. They didn't have a warrant when they came to my house.
You need that gun. What if somebody comes after you for this?
No kidding.
I mean, this is one of those issues, like, look at Nancy Schaefer. I mean, this
exactly.
is a kill over.
But they had no lawful reason to take the gun. It was legally owned. I was on my own property. I wasn't in the middle of committing a crime or suspected of committing a crime at the time of them jumping out in their cars on me. Because they were sitting on my house.
The asset forfeiture laws are how you get your gun back, unfortunately, and you got a certain amount of time to do that. So you better.
Well, they said in the third bond hearing, that I couldn't have the gun back while this case was pending, while I'm out on bond. So they took my gun rights because I'm out on bond.
Well, that's interesting.
Over this email.
Wow, they're just over the top with themselves.
Oh, then I got a special court order that I am to be escorted through the courthouse. I am to announce myself when I arrive. The security is supposed to follow me everywhere I go. They're only to allow me reasonable enough time to get done my business while I'm in the courthouse. And then they're to escort me back out the building and stay with me the whole time in the courthouse.
Kind of label you as a
terrorist, it sounds like, don't it?
That's what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they tried to label her a sovereign citizen. So that ties right into that.
Yeah, they are trying to make you the perception of a domestic terrorist, and they will do everything they can to push you to that edge because they want that.
Yeah, they haven't gotten that.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're wanting that. They want that.
I know. Yeah, I know.
See, that's a perfect example, folks, of abuse of acts such as the Patriot Act and such. That's a perfect example of that. Of abuse of the Patriot Act and other acts that have been put into effect under false premises that we know were engineered in the first place by our own people.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing because they want to tighten their reins. These administrative branches are such communists. They know how to do it. They know how to push buttons to the point that you don't even feel like we're in the same country anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they push parents to the edge, put them in abusive places, or even some are murdered. I mean, these children are murdered and the parents were hands tied, and they are waiting for that. They were
But
waiting.
it shouldn't be that. Parents should never have their hands tied. Nobody can make a better decision for my child than me. And how parents got tricked into thinking that somebody else could make a better decision for their child than they could is beyond me. I don't know how people got tricked into this crap.
It's actually through the capacity building, that issue at hand right now.
Yeah.
And I was invited, I think I told you guys already, I'm going to their conference next month, their virtual conference. You guys know that?
No, I did not know
Nice.
that.
The State Department invited me because
Awesome.
I actually audited the traffickings in persons report back in 2020. And they
Well,
sent
we love to be able to cover that if you're able or you're allowed.
we'll figure out a way that we can record it because I've been auditing these books by chance, and the capacity is who's holding this virtual conference, and it's for social workers across the nation. Well, guess who's going to ring them a new asshole and ask them all these questions. So we'll see.
Good. Somebody's got to be there to do it.
State Department invited me, and
Good.
I got,
Good.
yeah, exactly.
You're the checks and you're part of the checks and balances there. Then.
Big
Good.
time.
Good.
Like I said, been part of the team for a minute, and you know what? We all want to save America, the America we know, and this is kind of the beast. Is the capacity building. I've tracked it down to them. That's where it happens. That's the twist in our system that's been teaching everybody the wrong stuff. So, yeah, that'll be exciting if we can get it on the show.
That would be great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I think people have a right to know and see that there are changes being made right now that are in progress.
Right,
And then we are making a difference.
Department too, by the way, that invited me, so it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
State department that I did the audit for.
That's freaking awesome. That's great. That's
Who
good to
is
have
it?
that kind of in.
We're all in the same boat. There are good guys up there. They just can't. I mean, it's funny because they don't have time to read these books and look at them and do anything about them, I guess. But if they did, and I've been pointing it out, it's horrendous. I pointed it out to the DOD about the communist agenda that's wrapped up in here. And I mean, I just, do my thing with the book, write all over it and highlight it. And yeah, it's that much of a national threat.
Right.
So
Well, what it's doing is it's usurping whatever this communist agenda is that we're seeing proliferate throughout our society right now. Especially the last 2 years is definitely become a threat to our sovereignty as citizens for sure.
Right. And then the ones that aren't CCP or Russian, they're radical social workers, like the ones at Berkeley. They were at Berkeley and they just don't like us. I mean, you'll hear it in the way they talk, They blame us for everything bad in the world, but nothing good, So those,
Well, those kind of people we all know are the kind that everything they project or they accuse everybody else of doing is actually what they're internally guilty of themselves because they're projecting. We all know that.
Exactly, and at the end, they all just kill each other. So communist sucks, Hello.
Yep. I'm here. Sorry, I just had to get my drink.
I'm like crickets.
No, I'm here. I was over on my other desk.
Oh, you got me on a tangent, but yeah, let's do so are you gonna call the clerk's office and have them prepare the bond certificate for you of that judge?
You should.
That clerk office isn't going to do anything for me. They don't even file for me.
Yeah, they're the ones that are freaking like ignoring her filings half the time.
I understand that issue, and that's when you put it in writing that if they decide to ignore, edit, alter, dispose of, etc., anything that you're
And then
submitting-
certified mail it too. Then that way they have to.
Oh yeah, the notice to the clerk about their duties. I've done that.
Yeah.
That didn't help.
If they do not comply, that they are possibly going to be sanctioned.
I did all that. They don't care because the people that can sanction them are their buddies. They're having, beers with them on Saturday. Like they're that colluded that there's nobody that's going to do anything. And they know this.
We keep valid record on a timeline, like that I love.
I have it. I have the record of me sending all of this to them.
Perfect. Well, we're going to start with this bond. You're going to email and call. You're going to write it down on this timeline. You're going to follow up and 3 days after that, if you have 3 days, do you have 3 days?
I don't know when the trial is again.
They haven't rescheduled it yet.
They just left it open-ended.
Good, then 3 days is a typical time to respond for any courthouse or anybody professional. You'll follow up when you don't hear a response, because we know you won't. And then you do another one in writing and you docket it down and request it again. And if they do not comply or reply and ignore you, that's when we go ahead and request sanctions from a federal court.
I just requested sanctions. I just filed an ambias document, I guess that's how you say it, with the court. Haven't heard nothing on it.
I've never heard of that. And which court? Is it a federal court?
In the state court, no, in the state court, it's several motions together and then asking for sanctions. So
Try the federal court.
I'm gonna go to the federal court because that's where you're.
Move the whole case to federal?
No, for now, we're just gonna do the sanctions. If
The
they don't
sanctions through federal, yeah.
because we're gonna stay focused. Okay, we have to
Okay.
stay.
Well, I
So-
have been trying to stay focused, like,
So one thing at a time, and then you're gonna start with the bond, and when they don't respond, and then they don't respond again, and you have all of it documented, then you take all that and we submit it to the federal court, ask for sanctions, and then we also might ask for civil judgment against them for XYZ, which I have that federal civil case. You can copy as much as you want, like assault and all that.
yeah.
other-
Here's one of the emergency notice to dismiss charges entirety that, that's sitting in the court should be, that's not being heard. So, and because I have probably like 10 motions or notices that are sitting in the court right now, just sitting on this case.
Right, so we're gonna just keep it easy and simple for the federal court and be like, all I'm asking for is public information that I should have. You know how Judicial Watch always gets FOIAs and they have a hard time
Oh,
themselves.
I can't get FOIA either. I've been trying to get the FOIA.
The federal court.
Okay. Because there's body cam footage of all of this. The night they try to come in and take my daughter illegally with the TRO that wasn't verified. And there's body cam footage of the day they came and jumped me in my front yard and took me. When they kidnapped me, there was body footage of that too. And I can't get either or.
So this is good that I'm helping you because I hope you stay focused because you're all over and there's TMI for the court. Okay, we don't even need that much. Actually, when you give something to the court, if you're the one who is initiating it, they already believe you. It's the other guys that have to counter it. So that's awesome. So we're gonna say, hey, we're just asking for something that's public knowledge and they won't give it to us. Because I want it dismissed, maybe we'll even ask, but can you issue sanctions? Because I'm dealing with a lot of other bullshit, but we're not gonna say that, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Keep it simple for the federal court to contact, pick up their phone, they all golf together. Well, what's going on? Okay, that's all it might take. What's going on? Why won't you give her this public information? Because now I have to hear this, okay? Because they have to hear it.
Right.
We have a higher court that goes outside the state. So it's not gonna stay inside the court if they allow it.
See, and that's what I was asking. Who are their bosses? Because that's who I want to go to. I want to go to these people's boss. Who's their boss?
Right, and they have lots of them, believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe it.
They have that bond, which is the insurance company. Without, they can't work, okay? Because they're sworn to our Constitution with this bond. So
Right.
if they're not following it and there's too many complaints, they lose their insurance and they're not hireable. Just like cars, if you don't have insurance, you can't drive it at a lot. Kind of the same deal. So there's that side, and then they have boards. They have lots of boards. They have judiciary boards. They have the funds. Where do the funds come from? Title 40. That has like 5 different entities attached. The OMB, and I mean, you name it. I could tell you a whole bunch of entities attached to the money part. And then, I mean, just there's the State Department that oversees all administrative branches, which most of these judges fall under. They're certified at places. So there's lots of different ways you can go. But the point being is they don't like to be embarrassed. And the what is it? Impropriety, the
Right.
what was the word? Appearance of impropriety itself is unethical for a judge to have, if that makes sense.
It makes
Right.
perfect sense.
They have to appear. We don't as citizens, but they do as
They
representatives.
have to be held to a higher standard. At least they're supposed to be.
Correct. So the appearance of impropriety alone makes them guilty, and they don't want that. So you got to remember that's your ace
That's
card.
your angle. Yeah.
Mhm. So there's things we can do. It's just so time consuming and stupid. We have to.
I know.
She's
I know.
dumb. It's a child. I mean, she's an adult almost. That's ridiculous what they put her through.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And she's so smart and articulate, you know, with the judge. She was very.
She's well spoken. You know, because we talked about this prior going into court. Delilah, do you want to lay down and let them walk on you and you do what they told, or do you want to stand up for yourself? Because I will support you in either choice you make. And she chose to stand up for herself and not let them walk on her like that. And I backed her all the way through it.
Shame on them. They just made it a possible enemy. At the very least, they made someone who doesn't respect the courts.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that is not the purpose.
And then taught my daughter that I can't protect her.
They've taught her too many wrong things that are incorrect. And that is, I guess, why they released this video for you, because you need to do something about it.
Right.
So, you know, there's reasons for everything, but your daughter's so smart. She has so much potential. Shame on them for doing this, making an enemy out of her.
Yeah, it's been 542 days since I've seen her.
I mean,
Wow.
she easily could be taught the law, I'm sure herself. She's so smart. She's well spoken in that.
Oh yeah.
You know, she wasn't nervous. She was well spoken and she had the correct things to say. And for them to create opposing party in the future, it's just not good for our country.
Well, you know, later on in the court hearing in May and everything, you know, they said that she was lying and redacted all her statements she made in those court hearings.
But it sounds like they brainwashed her to me when I heard the next what was it, the November hearing audio?
The November hearing, yeah, she sounded like a totally different person, saying the complete opposite than what she was saying that day in the courtroom.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in November.
Oh, well, they just made a
But she also had just gotten out of a place that is being sued for child laboring and trafficking.
Right.
Jeez.
That her dad openly admitted that he knew that they had that lawsuit for child trafficking, and he still put her there knowingly because it fit what his needs and his intentions for at the
Yeah,
time.
he stated that on the
said this
record,
on
and
the
it
stand.
was not. Yeah, it was on the stand. I heard the recording
On the record,
and
under
they
oath.
still took her custody.
Yeah, the whole situation is wrong. Like there's something clearly wrong with, even the judge knows it when she speaks. You can hear it. So what's going on behind the scenes that she's being forced to act like the court's not hers?
Yeah, that I have not been able to figure out because there's something I don't know still going on.
Maybe we all don't know. There's something missing because it's like that all the judges were instructed to do the opposite thing.
Right. Something else is going on.
Yeah,
Like when they all recused themselves, like why? Judges don't get to judge you. That's what a jury's for. They didn't have to recuse themselves off that case. They're not the ones that would have been judging the criminal charge. The jury, that's up to the jury.
Yeah, I think there's something definitely going on behind the scenes that we don't know.
Just like when they tried to keep me from my bond hearing and keep me in jail for my bond hearing, the jail told me it was canceled. The judge waited almost 40 minutes or something, waiting for the jail to bring me to my bond hearing. And they wouldn't bring me to my bond hearing. They told me it was canceled.
So when the law doesn't follow the law, there isn't a law.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I said, if I don't
The
have
problem
rights,
is
nobody has rights.
they're the
Nobody
ones
has
that are
rights.
really the sovereign citizens because they're not following the law. They think they're above the law, but they're
If
not.
you, Desiree, don't have rights, I don't have rights. If Stephen don't have rights, I don't have rights. If one of us don't have our rights, that means the rest of us
That means
don't
none
have
of us
them.
do.
Yeah.
That's right. And if anything, it's them who are paid and sworn. So if anything, they're the worst of all parties because
Well, most of the statutes that they want to put upon us are rules for them. They're not even supposed to be laws for us. It's for government employees. A lot of the things that they have us believing that is meant for us isn't even meant for us.
Well, the us
Like
versus
grand jury indictments, grand juries aren't for the public. Those are really for government employees to keep them honest.
Wow, really?
usually for other things, not personal matters.
Yeah, they're that like people shouldn't be taken to the grand jury.
No.
It's really not meant for us. If you really dig into the grand jury, they're not supposed to be for the common person.
Well, they did that to protect themselves from a guilty verdict, even though the DA is the one who presented the case, so it doesn't matter.
Well, with my case or any case.
But yours, because
Right. It was smoke and mirrors. I don't even think they had a grand jury. I think they just pushed some papers around. That's what I believe. I don't believe they got anybody together and did anything with anybody.
Well, they didn't present both sides of the story, that's for sure.
Right.
I don't think they presented the one side to anybody. I don't think they actually had a physical grand jury. What I think they did was just draw up some paperwork. Seriously, I don't think they did it at all. Huh?
I know I've seen evidence of them doing that, like, but with the other shit that they've done.
I think they just said that they had a grand jury indictment and they just typed up some papers that said I had been indicted. I don't think they actually convened anything.
Yeah,
They won't give me any record to it.
I usually we only see indictments with the FBI, I thought, not with the grand jury.
Right. And I should be able to get records, some of the records, if not all of the records in the disclosure of what happened with the grand jury. And I can't get any of those records.
Yeah, and the DA won't give them to you either, huh?
No, they won't give me anything. I have probably filed for discovery probably about 7 times, maybe 10 times now. I file once a week on it.
Well, if there was one, there'd be a sealed envelope in your file.
Yeah, but good luck. They're not gonna let me get to my file.
Won't let you even view your file, huh?
They probably won't. Like they barely let me go into the courthouse. You know what I mean? Like shit. And they know exactly who I am. So they just, I mean, the minute when I call and I give them my name because they know my name. As soon as I give them my name, it's all bets are off. Everything changes at that moment, you know? And it's on recording. And I even told my friend, watch this. Now that she's got my name, watch how she treats me when she gets back on this call. Sure enough, wouldn't even let me leave a voicemail, wouldn't even transfer me to the prosecuting attorney's voicemail so I could leave him a message regarding my case. Because I was trying to parlay. They won't parlay with me.
Well,
you know, like they won't even give me an offer.
Well, the us versus them leaves us all out, right?
You know, like usually the attorneys that get together and come up with a deal, you know, like they'll try to like give you a deal to get you, you know, at least caught up by something. They won't even give me a deal on this.
Do you have a date for a court hearing?
August 2nd and 3rd. They canceled it. I was supposed to have trial last week. This should be over with.
Yeah, they canceled it. According to that article. And then also according to the records, because like the article came out a couple days ago, but we found out the day before, wasn't it?
It was Friday before I think it was on that Friday before trial. Like, so just last Friday, I think it was that I got the email with the court attachments with the judge signing off the docket and not putting it back on. Huh?
Is there a public docket online?
I'm never on the docket. My case is never on the docket. I have not been in 4 years. Not one time have I ever been on any docket on any hearing that I've ever been to on either of these cases.
For the criminal one either?
No, when they changed the room for my criminal hearing, because I'm not on the docket, they did a computer printout with my case number and the room they moved it to and taped it to the wall.
Wait, say that again?
When I went to my pre-trial hearing, they had moved the courtroom because it's a visiting judge. So they had put him in one courtroom. Well, we couldn't use that courtroom. So they moved courtrooms before I got there. And because I wasn't there, so to inform me when I got to the courtroom that I was supposed to go to, they had it taped to the wall. It was my name and the case number and the change of the courtroom telling me where to go. It was taped to the wall. I took it. I have it.
So is your case number a CR?
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Then it's got to be on the docket online if it's a CR.
Good luck. I mean, I'm never even on the docket when I go into the courthouse.
Well, didn't we see it on CaseNet or something? Like when the dates, haven't we seen that there?
It's CaseNet, but there's no docket. I can't find a docket for either case.
Go to your local county courthouse website and just type in your last name and see what comes up and see if there's any criminal cases.
That's our case net. Case net. I can go there and pull up my case.
See if your criminal case shows up and let's read what it says.
Yeah, it shows up. It shows up both cases because it was under, they changed when they had the grand jury indictment, they changed the case number, recharged me. So like that one charge went away and they changed the case number, charged me like a different charge with the grand jury indictment and changed the wording in it a little bit, which I thought was kind of weird.
If there's two case numbers, I've seen it happen before. You're not the first, but that's just because sometimes they change dates and all this stupid stuff. But let's see what they have on the docket online. Because it'll have general hearing matters and outcomes. It should.
Oh no, they don't show me that. They won't give that information.
Put up your last name and see what comes
Yeah,
up.
so it's this. So these are the family courts, these purple one, pink ones, whatever. Here's the family court cases. And then
wait, where are you?
Oh no, here it is. This is the this was the first charge. This 00998. This one here was the first charge. And they did the transfer to the grand jury indictment. This was 4/20/21. And then on the docket entries.
Transfer. Grand jury.
So this is
fine. Request for records filed. Wait, hold on.
And then when you go to charges and judgments and sentences,
slow down.
this charge is no longer pending. Please refer to the next case number.
Okay.
And so you come back out of this, go to the next
99801. So what's the next case number?
01.
That's the same.
Well, this didn't have a 1 on it. It just had 99 or 00998, and now there's 0099801, which is this one.
Yeah, that's the one after they transferred over to the grand jury.
Yeah. Okay, so your new criminal that it says it's referred to, where is that?
That's this one.
Okay.
Right here. See, tampering with a judicial officer, So this is what they changed it to.
575-095?
Huh?
You looked up 575-095?
Yeah, it comes back up to this tampering.
Yeah, a code, a civil code or something, criminal code. There you go. Yeah, it's criminal code. That's the law that they're using. Let's look at that. Canceled, various requested motions filed.
That's me.
Just for disclosure. Withdraw an entry of appearance, so ordered judge.
I don't know how Judge Ott got involved in anything, but she did.
Okay, so now, continuing, was it continuance the last thing? I can't tell.
Yeah, this is this order due to unavailable witnesses, the jury trial scheduled for 2/3 is removed from the trial docket and continued until a time available for all parties. Left it open like that. So then all this stuff here, this is all pending, like.
Well, slow down and write down that number 5, where was it? 5, whatever.
The one on the other charge?
Go all the way to the top. That 5, some criminal code 5.
Oh, that's in the other charge. Let's see if it's on this same charge where it says charges.
It said.
Yeah, it's right here, this code.
Yeah, you need to write that down. That's your thing.
Okay.
So 5095. Okay, so then you're gonna go to your. Okay, have you ever heard of IRAC when you write any legal documents? Have you heard that term, IRAC? Issue, rule, and it's been a while. Issue, rule, argument, conclusion. That's the format that lawyers use for prosecuting or fighting any criminal charge.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna look up that rule. You're gonna see what all the things are required. Usually it's an and, not an or. Okay, you write down everything that's required to have that charge.
This here?
Yes.
You're talking about this, right?
Yep. There it is. Threatens or causes harm to such which you don't already. So you can argue the fact that you don't qualify for number 1. Uses force, threats, or deception against, or is that an and or? Duty such.
Or deception. Or agrees. They're all ors.
or discussion against a member of such judicial officer's family.
You know, I was an officer of this court for 20 years.
Wait, slow down.
So you would think I would have the same kind of, you know, you can't threaten a judge, an officer of the court. I've been an officer of the court for a really long time. How can she say that to me then?
That's
Because I had been serving court documents since I was 19.
all right. So who's a person? So yeah, you are guilty of number 4. Unfortunately, because that's a matter of opinion, whether or not somebody feels threatened. I mean, but calculate it to harass or alarm such a judicial officer. So that, unfortunately, you did.
I don't think so, because I just found another case where the guy was actually at the judge's house, like trying to threaten the judge, and the judge found that there was no threat. There's a clause in this article, and I pulled it because it's really interesting. I just haven't looked into it anymore, but they gave the reasonings why the judge dropped the charges on this guy.
So basically, number 4, you got to keep it relative to your situation. You're not at these people's homes. It's just the fact that they're going to say you did this on purpose to cause harassment or alarm. And
this is retaliation.
But the only
for
alarm
releasing that audio
was a professional negative consequences.
Right.
So you need to argue the fact that the only stress or alert to the judge was there are consequences professionally.
But what am I arguing? There's no facts upon the record. I've not been able to plead to anything. I don't even know what I'm being charged with. She's never made a statement.
You never even said it's the email?
Huh?
Well, they're claiming it's the email and the discovery that they did give her. So yeah, that's what their argument is. But they're also talking about, they're using that non-discovery too, about the text message, they're trying to link her to that somehow, I think.
What text message?
From the anonymous.
Let me see if I can bring it up real quick for you.
The disclosure of the Zoom call?
No,
this is separate. This is the other thing we found out about after we got the discovery.
the docs with anonymous messaged her, told him that she was going to be doxxed.
Oh wow. Oh, that's cool.
That's what that I didn't know what
Here, I got it right here. Will you stop sharing your screen so I can show our viewers?
Yeah, that's what the detective was asking me about during our interview, and I didn't know what he was talking about because I didn't even know Anonymous had contacted the judge. I had no clue.
Right. So that has nothing to do with you. I wouldn't even worry about it if they bring it up.
Well, they're trying to link it to her is what they're trying to do.
They were bringing it up in the bond hearing. They were talking about now. I didn't know
based on the audio I heard of that, and then what I seen in the discovery, that would be my guess on their angle. That's what they would.
I didn't know at the bond hearing what they were talking about. I didn't know they were talking about this. I didn't know anything about this until I got this discovery packet from the prosecuting attorney.
This is a message from Anonymous themselves. We have seen, I need the voice. We have seen reports.
Good day, Nicole. This is the message from Anonymous themselves. We have seen the reports of how you treated a child who is clearly traumatized by the acts of her father. You are just as guilty as her father who molested her. You will suffer in our hands of justice. Today symbolizes our day of justice. We have found your personal info, credit card info, etc. Hold on, let me get the other.
Yay!
Well, there's anyways, well, there's a second page. I don't think I have the image of it. It's in a PDF as well.
We do not forgive.
Discovery 14. Here we go. Because I think we only got the top half. Where is the other one? Anyways, but there's more to it. I don't know where the other half went. But basically, yeah, they had a link to the page where they doxed her info.
Ah, nice. We did not.
I didn't even know what doxing was.
We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. There we go. Sorry, I didn't have a voice changer, so I was like, I just do the best I can. I'm pretty good at impressions.
I didn't even know what doxing was until I got the discovery and asked Q what it meant to be doxed. I didn't even have a clue, but they questioned me. The detective questioned me in the interview when I got arrested about that message sent to her that I didn't have any clue what he was talking about.
Well, there, you're fine. Don't even worry about the text message.
Right.
No, when he arrested me, he come in to talk to me. I asked him, he's like, do you know why you're here? I'm like, we're here to look for my daughter, right?
Yeah, don't.
Why else would I be here?
Public officers tell you because they lie a lot. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
You worry about it.
All right. Well, we got a good solid 2 hours and 4 minutes and 31 seconds, and let's wrap it up, shall we?
Sure.
It was a good show.
Oh.
All right. Don't forget to follow our pages. I'm going to play our outro. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on.
You're welcome.